Hey there, comic book fans. It's Rusty again with Collector Auctions, and here I am in the car again, headed to Third Eye Comics in Annapolis, Maryland for another new comic book day. Well, there are a lot of great books that are coming out this week, but nothing that was on my radar. In fact, most of the books I've got targeted to pick up today were things that I didn't even know about 2 to 3 months ago when I put in that pre-order list for most of my new comics with my subscription service. So I'm going to head down today, do like I normally do. I'll film all the new comic books that Third Eye has on display. We'll pick up my new comic books. We'll head home, bag and board them, and then we'll do a little show and tell. So stay tuned, and I'll be right back. All right, everybody, I just finished up here at Third Eye Comics in Annapolis, Maryland, and I had a great time going through all the new comic books that came out this week. What a bunch of great books. And surprisingly, like I said in the intro, there were so many books that were not on my radar, so I didn't pre-order a lot of these. In fact, I don't think any of these books were on my radar. Why they weren't, I don't know. But that's what I use New Comic Book Day for, is to pick up the books that I failed to pre-order or I just might have missed completely. But I had a great time going through the books. I hope you enjoyed some of the footage that I shot in there of all the books that Third Eye picked up this week. I think that they definitely had sold out of a few things because there was one book that I could not find. But what a bunch of great books. I can't wait to get home. I'm going to bag and board everything, and then we'll sit down and we'll do a show and tell. So stay tuned, and I'll be right back.
One eternity later.
All right, everybody, I made it back home, and I bagged and boarded all the new comics I picked up this week. And what a bunch of new comics. I mean, look at this stack right here. It is a ton of books. Now, granted, there are a few of these are from the recent back issue bins, are really the wall. They still, as I said before at Third Eye, they keep up new comics on a separate wall from the New Comics This Week comics. And sometimes those books can go back, I've seen it go back at least 2 years sometimes. and there will be a ton of books on those walls. And I ended up finding some back issues that I was looking for as well, and we'll go over that as well as everything else. But I will tell you this, the one thing that I was really impressed with this week was just the quality of some of the art on these books. It wasn't just the covers, there were some interiors in here that just blew me away, and we'll go through that as I go through these books. So let's just start off with the first one here. I picked up the second issue of Hell Hunters, a book that I had not pre-ordered for this issue or even the first issue, but I did pick this up when the first issue came out a month ago, and mostly because, okay, yeah, it's a #1. You've got a Wolverine title. It's kind of cool. It's back during World War II. Ooh, there's a new Ghost Rider. I mean, it was hitting all these collector hot buttons right there. But one of the things for me was seeing who was writing it. And you've got Philip Kennedy Johnson writing this book. And he is writing The Incredible Hulk. He's written the Aliens story when they came over to Marvel. He was writing that. And more importantly, for me, though, personally, is that he did come to Third Eye Comics here about a year ago, or over the last year, to do a signing. And anytime I get a writer or even an artist who shows up at Third Eye and I get to meet them for a few minutes and everything, I definitely give them the benefit of the doubt, and I definitely try to read some more of their stuff, or I guess read is the right word in the case of a writer. If it's an artist, to give their art a chance, anything like that. And this book right here, I was thumbing through it. Art's been really good. The artist, and forgive me, I've got notes in front of me here, so if I look away, I'm looking at my notes. Adam Gorham did the art on the interior, and this is some fun artwork. I mean, it looked really good. I was actually taken aback a little bit that it was actually a little bit more decent than a lot of the art that's out there these days. And that's going to be an ongoing theme throughout these stories right here, is that there is some surprising art going on these days. I think a lot of us are pretty much used to a lot of the modern comics looking like garbage. I've talked about not liking a lot of the modern artwork, but for whatever reason this week there were some things that kind of took me off guard, and in a good way. So I'm going to continue reading this. This is fun. I did pick up this Storm Life Dream, and I'll be honest, I didn't pick this up for any other reason than it is I think it's a one-shot. It is just a single issue, and I picked it up. If you can see on the cover here, it's one of those, a Marvel Voices special, and I kind of shy away from some of these Voices books from Marvel. I'm not a big DEI kind of guy. I think if you have talent, it's because you have talent, not because of your skin color or your gender or anything like that. But this book right here, let me read some stuff that I wrote down about this. First time ever an all-black creative team worked on a book. It is an anthology. I think it's an anthology. I'm not really sure. I thumbed through it and everything. But the art and the interior is okay. Nothing jumped out at me, to be honest, like I was just talking about the last issue. But when I got a chance to take a look at this cover right here, and I'm going, wow, this is really good. This cover is fantastic. And it's one of those, I need a print of that up on the wall. Who did this? And the artist's name, and if I mispronounce this, I apologize, Taryn Clark is the artist for the cover here, and that is somebody that I'm going to look forward to seeing other art out there. If he's strictly a cover artist, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with artists like that. You've got Ben Harvey out there who does covers. He doesn't do interiors. He does cover artwork. He's an illustrator. And this art right here is absolutely fantastic. Man, that is some smoking cover right there. I will definitely look out for Taryn Clark, more of his artwork. All right, moving on and talking about just some fantastic artwork. Was this right here? It's the third issue of Psylocke. And I'll say this, I wasn't that impressed by the interior art on the last couple issues. Although I looked at the interior in this, and it's actually very serviceable. It's actually pretty good. The art is, I wrote this down too, Vicencio Caradas. Boy, I hope I didn't pronounce that badly, but I didn't buy it necessarily for the interior. I will say this, though. The interior art, you've got Psylocke, who is Asian, and I will tell you that that character does not look Asian to me at all, just one thing. But I didn't buy that for the story. I didn't buy it for the interior, although I think I did enjoy the interior art on this pretty good, because why would I mention the artist's name if I didn't like it? But this cover right there, Villalobos cover, just killing it again, smoking hot cover. Week after week, he puts these female characters out there, and they are super good, super hot. I love this cover. This is going to go into my Villalobos pile of books to get signed, hopefully at some point. All right, continuing on with the cover, and this is the one that actually shocked me this week. I had dropped this title other than picking up some variant covers, and is X-Men number 10. I think you still have Jed McKay, who's still writing this. I believe that's right. I'm blanking on that, to be honest, but I had already dropped this after about the third issue. The Ryan Stegman art at the beginning is okay. It's good, but I wasn't feeling it. It just didn't feel right for this title. Even though he's a very good artist, don't get me wrong, I've gotten things signed by him at the Baltimore Comic-Con last year, but I wasn't enjoying the artwork enough to continue with the story, which I didn't really get into at all. And I had dropped this title, and dropped most of the X-Men except for the new Wolverine title. Well, this came out this week, and it's got this magic cover here, and again, I'm going to butcher some names. Leslie Lyric Lee is the artwork for this magic cover right there, and that is, again, another super hot cover. Buying it for the art. But you know what? I sat down and I started thumbing through the art on the inside, and oh my God, this artwork right here was the one that shocked me the most this week. Again, another name I do not know, Nitho Diaz. Boy, I'm butchering names, I'm sure, left and right here. But guys, you've got to check out the artwork in this right here. It was so good, it made me go back and check out the few previous issues just to see if he had been doing the artwork on some of the previous issues that since I had dropped the title, I wasn't picking up. He had not. This is the first issue that he's done artwork on the interior. It looks like, man, it is super good. There's something dynamic in that art that really struck me, and I will definitely be looking out for more of his artwork. Man, this right here, my favorite book of the week by far. All right, so there's a new title out this week. It's a throwback to the old Marvel series, but we've got the new Silverhawks, and this is coming from Dynamite. And I will say this right here is a good example of, I'm buying issue number 1, and it will be a cover buy depending on the artist moving forward. The art in the inside did not do anything for me at all, and I'm not even going to mention the artist on this and everything, but picked up the issue number 1 here. But I did pick up the Jay Lee cover right there, and I picked up the Mark Spears cover right there. There are a few other ones, but nothing else struck me. But Mark Spears, of course, is doing the Monsters series that's so popular right now. And I only bought that because of this cover right there by him. That's the only reason I ended up picking up this. It's not my favorite or anything, but he's sort of the hot flavor of the month, so I went ahead and picked that up. All right, let's put these books down because I don't have any more room up there. Now, the big book of the week, maybe, is this right here. It's called Seasons, The Seasons, by Rick Remender. And I don't know much about this. I know there are 4 sisters, the Seasons sisters, who lost their parents, disappeared over 10 years ago. They were detectives. This is a horror book. I looked at the art on the inside. It looks pretty good. I'm kind of interested to see what this is, but I kept hearing little whispers out there that this is going to be a big thing. We'll see. So I picked up a couple copies of issue number 1. They had some ratios that, honestly, I didn't feel like spending. I already knew I was spending a lot of money this week, so I didn't pick up any of the ratios or anything, but picked up a couple issues of that. I did pick up one copy of this I was going to say hardbound, but square-bound Book of Cutter. This is another book from James Tynion and Deladera. It's part of the Slaughterverse universe, the Something's Killing the Children universe. It's another chapter in the story, and I'm going to enjoy reading this when I get a chance. I better, because it's a $10 comic book. It's a one-shot, but for $10, it better be pretty good. And I do enjoy the James Tynion books with Something's Killing Your Children. I did drop the other title, House of Slaughter, but I'm giving this a try. It is a one-shot, so we'll see what that is all about. All right, now we just mentioned Mark Spears, and his issue number 3 of Mark Spears Monsters came out this week. So I was only going to get one cover, but you know what? They look really good because there was a lot of covers. So we've got the regular Frankenstein cover right there. And I had to get the Brides of Dracula cover. And let's see what else. Oh, we've got this one right there. We've got Ilsa. So I know this character appears in there momentarily in the series. I'll see what she ends up being like further in the future episodes or the future stories as they come out. I had to get these. These were throwback homages to the Marvel, 25th anniversary covers in the 80s. You got the Dracula homage cover right there with the border, of course. And the same border, you've got the Witch. And I don't think they had any of the other variants, but there's a one with a shark Jaws character that looked really good. I think it was a silver foil cover that I did not see. I don't think Third Eye actually had that one. But there we go with all the Mark Spears covers that I could pick up this week. And then the last new comic book of the week I actually picked up a couple copies of Star Wars: A New Legacy. And it is celebrating 10 years. Like I said, I picked up 2 copies of that. Marvel is celebrating 10 years of Star Wars being back at Marvel. And you've got an anthology book here. You got 3 different storylines. And I bought it because the first 2 stories are written by 2 writers who are going to be appearing back-to-back at Third Eye Comics in February. You've got the first story right here by Charles Soule, and then the second story by Jason Aaron. And both of them are going to be at Third Eye for a signing each week, one right after the other, and I can't wait for them to be in there. So I thought I would get at least one of these. I bought 2 because if I missed something, if one of these had a defect or anything, I won't get that one signed. I kind of covered my bases just to make sure I got 2 really good copies. But I definitely want to get one of these signed, maybe 2 signed by both of them, and maybe hold on to this book for all the other creators in this book and turn this into a bit of a jam piece at some point. So those were all the new comic books I picked up this week. But we just mentioned Jason Aaron, who's going to be in Third Eye. And one of the books that I cannot lay my hands on, I know I have it in my new comic book boxes, but if you guys follow my channel, you know that I'm pretty disorganized with all the new comics that I get each and every week. I usually spend some time every couple months or so trying to go back and reorganize everything. But those, especially independents, are kind of hard to lay my hands on. If they were Marvel, it'd be one thing. If it was DC, it'd be one thing. But then all the other companies fall into their own category, and they can be in multiple boxes. And I could not lay my hands on this right here. It is the first issue of the title from this last year, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the new #1 by Jason Aaron. And I wanted to get a copy of this, my copy that I already bought. I wanted to get it signed by Jason Aaron as well. I tell you, it could take me weeks if I could even find it at this point. Well, Third Eye, as I said, they've got a pretty good recent back issue or new comics on the stand still, and luckily they had a couple of copies of that right there. So I will definitely get at least one, depending on how many books I can get signed. I may have both of these signed by Jason Aaron. We'll see about that. Now, I also, while I was going through this, I picked up, this was out just a week ago, it was Magic #1. It's just a regular cover, but it is a J. Scott Campbell cover. I kind of wanted an extra copy of that. This is one of my my favorite J. Scott Campbells from the last few weeks. And it seems like every week you've got a J. Scott Campbell coming out. And sometimes I like him a lot, sometimes I don't. This one I actually liked. And for once, it's a regular cover. It seems like he's been doing a lot of X-Men titles recently, but they've all been variant covers, not the main cover. Well, for this Magic series right now, it looks like he is the main cover artist on that. And I wanted to get a second copy of that. And then lastly, I bought a couple of books here. I've talked about this in probably my last video where I'd picked up some recent back issues because the writer is supposed to be returning to Free Comic Book Day this year at Third Eye. He was there 2 years ago for the launch of this title, and I have been praising this book on every video that book appears in. It's one of the best books of the last 2 years, to be quite honest. And it is Conan the Barbarian by Jim Zub. And I've got all the issues, but I did not have all the covers that I wanted to get signed. I wanted to get the cover A's done. So this is issue number 7 right there. And the artists change a lot, but the couple of the main artists on there have been really good. The interiors, Del Torre's been really good. The artist on this one is, I'm going to mispronounce this too, Braithwaite, I believe. Fantastic, just a fantastic artist. I'm not familiar with the Alex Horley did the art on this one. Dan Panosian did the cover. This is issue number 13, cover A. And at this point, I've got all the cover A's to this Titan comic, Conan the Barbarian by Jim Zub, and they're all ready to go to get signed at some point. We'll see if I can get them all signed or not. But I'm excited that he is supposed to be back at 3 Comic Book Day. He's somebody that has actually seen the channel a little bit and reached out to me to thank me for talking about the book so much. And it's not false praise, guys. This right here, this book right there has been the book of the year, if not the last 2 years, the best ongoing title out there. Just been getting better and better. And the art, even though the artists have changed a little bit, have been fantastic. And then the last one is a companion to the Conan the Barbarian series. It is another series called Conan the Barbarian Battle of the Blackstone, and this is issue number 3. And I honestly cannot remember if I had already had this or not. Again, the artwork is fantastic. I don't know where they're digging up some of these artists, because these books from Conan have all been good, no matter who's been doing the artwork. Some of them, like I've mentioned, Del Torre, fantastic, very John Buscema-like, but the other artists have just been just as good in their own way. Fantastic stuff. I could not recommend it higher than any other book out there. But what I surprised for this week is just the amount of really good artwork, and that's a change. It's almost like I'm feeling something change in the hobby recently, and I'm starting to see it's not just about this fantastic cover art, but the art on the inside seems to have gotten a little bit better. If only for this week. I don't know. But guys, you've got to let me know if you've seen the same thing as I've seen. This week kind of shocked me just how good the artwork was. I'm definitely going to have to be checking out Taran Clark, see if he does more covers, and Nitho Diaz on that X-Men title. I hope he is an ongoing artist on there, because it is some fantastic artwork. Recommend both of them, checking those guys out. And guys, just leave me a comment in the comment section. Let me know what you think of all the books I've picked up, and what do you think about the art. I'd love to hear from you. And guys, if you enjoy this kind of content, each and every week I put out shows. New Comic Book Days on Wednesdays. I put variety shows on Mondays and Fridays, all with 3 p.m. If you enjoy these, definitely give me a like, slap subscribe, and click on that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of those episodes. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Have a great day, and remember, every comic has a story.